Hey, this is Covert Reality, and it looks like Bush and Clinton and Obama are at it again. It was mind-blowing for me to see them looking like they were desperate up on a stage at what looked to be an arena or some sort of place where they had a fundraiser for the hurricane victims. And it's really interesting that they would be coming out and pretending to be like they really care about what's going on when they know darn well that it's weather modification that's causing everything. It's the manipulation of our atmosphere and causing frequencies and heating the ionosphere, heating the stratosphere, heating everything, and creating all sorts of different chaos everywhere. Like the fires. There's so many fires going on here everywhere that are being more and more obvious, really, that they're caused by microwave heat weapon systems. And, we're living in really interesting times. We're living really in a desperate time right now because the power structure that is going down is looking for money. I mean, it's a good example with Bush, Clintons, and the Bushes, and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, all of them getting together. They're all a part of the whole Prescott-Bush Nazi collaborative affiliations. So, when Trump came in, these folks were kind of in a lot of trouble when it comes down to it. So they're, now they're acting, I seem like they're desperate, like they need money, or they're just trying to act like, hey, remember us, and we care, and, Trump doesn't care, or whatever. I don't know. It's just whatever they're trying to do, whatever ploy they're trying to make here. The Bushes and Clintons and Obama, like you all have a lot of things to answer for, and you just don't, belong to able to make money. I feel sorry for all those people that are there that believe that it's a really good cause, that they would actually put the money into that. I can't believe it, honestly, about what's going on, especially in California too. At the same time, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger doing some video campaigning and stuff for talking about the fires and forest fires, and we got to watch out because we might have to do something to change the way we live. So he's gone on a rampage to try to act like the savior. So him as the Bushes, the Clintons, and Obama now acting like the saviors. But now we're talking about California area, Hollywood, and that's a big corrupt area there. And they're literally going for broke. One of my friends, Tim, today mentioned on Facebook that, they're definitely going for broke. They're pushing the accelerator on because today they really sprayed Waterloo region here with all sorts of amazing amount of spraying, it's been just happening constantly lately here. But today was unbelievable. It marked October 22nd, 2017 as being the most frequency-related 360-degree atmosphere I've ever seen in my life. So whatever they're coordinating or whatever they're setting, it's definitely not natural. So we have to be very ready for big changes soon, because we cannot take any more of this, really. You got evidence of heat weapons causing fake forest fire news articles in California saying that they're, and all the news talking about the forest fires there. Well, you look at overhead drones looking at these forest fires, they don't look like forest fires, they look like little projects that they're trying their new weapon system out on, because they've sprayed certain areas for so long. They've sprayed California for like 20 years now. So they can test this weapon system out. This is why I find it dire right now to get right to everybody we possibly can in the highest regard right now, because they've sprayed Waterloo region in Canada about half the time they've been spraying United States. And like I said before, they have been doing geoengineering operations for decades, since World War II. But we have to be prepared for what they have in store for us right now. it doesn't look good. And I just want to say this in all honesty. The dark side is showing its hand because it showed a little experiment to see if they get away with it. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold coming on. But, I guess the pictures have surfaced from drones going over the explosions of the houses or whatever that took the lives of many people. This is definitely done by heat weapons. This wasn't a forest fire related thing because you could see the tree lines and the houses were standing just right. Like it was literally tested to see if a neighborhood. I just feel like they've been spraying for so long. Like nanothermite was used in 9/11. Now we're dealing. That's like really super small component that literally will fry everything and disintegrate everything. So that's what it looks like happened in California. It looked like the same weapon system. It reminded me of the scalded cars on 9/11. There's nothing left. That brings to mind Judy Wood, Dr. Judy Wood. She'll go on about exactly the technology we're talking about right now, direct energy weapons, DEW weapons. So we can look at that right now and just to literally say that and we have been announcing that for a while on Covert Reality, but we've been having to come straight out and try to push it to the forefront because these hurricanes and these fires and all of these things that are causing and earthquakes, and it's all frequency related military operations. We need to understand that the whole Clinton, Bush, Obama thing, and I know everyone does. Everyone that is a frequent listener of Covert Reality or that knows me personally, or the group of people around me that have been fighting against this for a while, we all get this, but it's for the public out there to have to understand that we're under attack. We have a World War III scenario going on right now, and it's covert. It's literally under the seams. So we have to really look at what is causing this, and what's causing it to keep going on is the media and the news, and CTV and global, like they are both global, globalization type globalists. They are just in it for the bigger financiers and what we'll put into their pocket. And it's really trying tale right now going on. In the Cambridge Times, that little cartoon that's in the Cambridge Times, Thursday, October the 19th, I believe, shows they actually reposted it. It was originally put in 2014. I remember seeing the original one it looked like a bum with a sign in front of him, which is a lot of that's happening in Cambridge now, just out of nowhere. People that we don't know, we've never seen in town, have no history here. They're just standing at medians with signs. It's like just a setup to make it feel like it's things are getting bad and blah blah blah. So it was interesting. They put this ad out in 2014. Cartoon shows a bum with a sign, and it says the end is near. But above it, it says hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes and all these things that are supposedly weather related, the end of times type thing. He's holding the sign that says the end is near. Now they repost that and they say that's really fitting because of the just all the fires and the things that are happening in our world and our global warming and they sprayed the last couple of weeks here in the Waterloo region and have made it really hot, and it messes us up because the pharmaceutical agencies make money always at this. It's like getting to be a regular yearly trend now, where they make money now at this time of year because they can get away with the different changes of seasons. They can get away with spraying to make it a little bit hotter during the day, and then at night it gets colder because we're actually in the end of October, going to November, so we'll get that colder air, and when they don't spray at night, that cold air just drops right down onto us while we're sleeping, and a lot of people get colds and they're not keeping themselves warm enough, and they get cold, so they make some money there, as pharmaceutical agencies do, make money from it. It's a systematic nightmare we're in right here in these areas of California. Any place that has like a an industry mapping, whether it be building things for Bombardier or anything to do with the military-industrial complex and their ComDev abilities of microwave heat switches. They have a lot of different things going on here technologically that are playing their part. And one thing that just made me really feel like we had to, put another episode of Covert Reality out was that we are definitely in a situation where even Michael J. Murphy is looked at as someone that when you go on his Facebook page, there's pictures of him and stuff like that, so it looks like it's actually him. But I think now this is actually where he's told pretty much to just pretend that you're on Facebook, that you're not even, or in fact, we'll just take care of that for you. Make you look like you're not even looking at chemtrails anymore, that your focus is on something else. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, he really is doing seminars and stuff like that. So it's really interesting to note that the higher up you go fighting against this, the more you get told you better get out. Like Canadian Army veteran was told to keep it quiet about his chemtrail spraying talk and saying that they're spraying the atmosphere. He was actually told to be quiet within the Canadian Army, and this was a second lieutenant that did nursing and helped out more or less for wounded people and sickness, and was in there for 25 years, but then was told to be quiet. He was probably dealing with neurological diseases, stuff like that, and found a spike in that. Anyway, so we have a lot of people prospering in these sectors that are energy sectors or entertainment sectors or production manufacturing sectors. It's really disgraceful to know that Canada, it seems like we're going to have a devastation here, and I'm just going to jump right to that because they need it so bad for Canada to be the one that says, hey, look it, man, we need to have a carbon price. We need to have a price on this. Now I get it. Now I know why they're rushing this so much. Because they want to get this all set up. And so when something does happen in Canada, thanks to weather manipulation and also causing death and just playing with life sources entirely, and they're hoping so badly that they could disintegrate everybody if all the people that just go and work like worker bees and don't pay attention to that, they're fine with the system, they'll be okay, but all the people that are dissenters or people that get it, what do they do, disintegrate all of us? Or are they just going to disintegrate everybody? I can't even believe I'm even saying this, but in all reality, they've been lacing this area for over a decade. They've been lacing the area of California for more than a couple decades. And they are testing heat weapons out there that are revealing total neighborhoods just disappeared, really, except for just some steel and some rubble and grayness, and barely anything is there anymore. Like no forest fire, nothing. There's just a bunch of houses with nothing there, and they look like they were, like it was sort of disintegrated. Like on 9/11, you see a lot of different things falling and disintegrating. Direct energy weapons will do that. And this is a serious game they're playing here. It's not a funny thing to be sitting here being a spokesperson for such a bleak topic. But it just happens to be where we do have a lot more people waking up all over the place. So I'm going to say these people are desperate. And I say it loud and clear because you got Obama and Bush administration and Clinton's going out, and CTV of all places. Obviously, they're going to be pumping them. CTV's always bashing Trump, and CTV's always perpetuating the speculation that the population is absolutely stupid. Okay, and that's what makes me sick inside, is that CTV and Global and all these affiliates in the local news and stuff, they are all like CBC, and they are all the biggest perpetrators of literally assuming that we are so stupid that we don't get it. And that's, it's so true. It's just like, that's what really makes me angry inside when it comes down to it. To know that there's others out there that will manipulate to get by, and they will do it to a degree where they feed off the public's innocence. And so that's a good, fine example of Bush and Obama and the Clintons getting together to act like, oh, look at us. Let's care. Let's care about the planet. Yeah, okay, so, if most people knew they were the reason why we have all these war on terror and wars and all sorts of different false flags going on and perpetuation of media manipulation and George Soros operations and Clinton Foundation operations that have moved to Canada, it just totally is a setup here, especially we get the United Nations setting up their database in Cambridge here, and they're still going on about calling it the Gaslights Project. They're still getting people to sign on the dotted line to invest money into 1 to 2 bedroom apartments that are really expensive, and they are literally calling it the Gaslights Project. Like this nice thing, and the logo actually looks like an airplane. I just can't even believe it. So I actually took a picture of that. I'll load it on Facebook. So anyway, this episode is very important. We need to stand up more than we ever have to call our MPs, let them know that we know, like, this is it. Like, they're really pushing it now. The military are really going to be trying to perpetuate whatever they can, a way to jobble everything up. Everyone's safety and everyone's security and all of their prosperity that they feel they have in their lives. We feel, and the people looking at this Weather Modification Agenda 21, now 2030 project, it is at its biggest, most desperate time. So our enemy of free humanity is now at its, at its knee, it's literally like on its knees, just dying to survive. So we're going to be having some, possibly some rough areas to go through in the next future a little bit here. And the weapon system they're using can literally blow up gas aquifers under the ground. These heat weapon systems they have can disintegrate anything underneath the ground and create lava. It's that hot. It just melts everything into lava. The heat is so intense that they can disintegrate people. It's like an incinerator. It's even reports of the California forest fire that took out the neighborhood there. It even said that people were, what would you call it when you are? What was it? It was started with an S, but it was a firefighter saying that people were literally it was a different word than burnt. Let's put it that way. And it wasn't incinerated, but it was something like that. It would be a word that starts with S that that describes that they were totally just evaporated, like burnt beyond recognition, like where you couldn't even see them. Like what do you call it when you get your body goes into what do they dustify you? You throw you in an incinerator and put you into dust. I'm just trying to think of what that action is. There's a certain word, but it was said as a description by one of the firefighters down in California, and I wish I could remember that or have it in front of me. But so we have a very desperate situation happening now, and CTV in Canada are just happy to keep everything about the spraying operations in the dark, because when it comes down to it, the Queen and their militaries depend on this. They depend on this so much, but they're failing and falling apart at the seams. We have more and more people waking up, and we're really winning this battle as far as waking people up in time. So we just need to pass this episode along, get it out to people, to encourage them to take a stand. Don't feel upset or not upset. Don't feel alone or upset with yourself because you can't make a difference. There's enough people out there that do know about it. So scream at the top of your lungs now if you need to. But I would say that I'll probably end up trying to get another Covert Reality radio show going to reach more people, but just happy to know that having Covert Reality on FM radio for 6 months did really do a lot of work. So we're happy to still be able to broadcast on YouTube, and with all of these really weird things happening here in Waterloo region over the last 10 or 11 years of abuse and people acting strange and administrations keeping quiet, and it really goes to show that, yep, this is a UN database. This is what UN actually chose Cambridge, Ontario. So like that was in a prior episode, but I just want to let you know, just like it's very empowering, and I want to leave off with this, that it's very empowering to know that the UN, and we were fighting against this 10 or 11 years ago, bringing up headaches to them that we could notice, and we've been treated with so much abuse that they tried to literally make us look like we're the ones that are causing problem at these buildings, then instead of the orders that the police or the administrations are given to come and beat us up or treat us like we are dangerous. So they literally, are doing so much to act like they can. It's just so unbelievable how far evil will go when it comes down to it. And we just really need and rely on the public to have their eyes open on this one and to understand that most, if not all, of the next bunch of weather-related events or explosions going on are definitely caused by heating the ionosphere with heat weapons. So it's a direct energy weapon system we're dealing with, folks. So I just want to let other newer listeners know that is something they can go and check out. And this is a pulse-related frequency weapon systems. Chemtrails was enlisted brought up in as a designed. It must have been a military word because it was put in the Space Preservation Act and by Dennis Kucinich, HR 2977, House Resolution Bill 2977. I can't believe I said 7 3 times, but it was kind of suiting. So it was listed as that. So I just want to make this as a point. And I feel like the reason why chemtrails is looked down as is like you can't use that is because, well, there's a dark military that says, yeah, you don't use that word because that's our word. That'll expose everything, and the public will never have our trust anymore, and we'll lose everything. So that's why I think chemtrails is looked down upon as some legitimate way or word, but it is actually the exact word that describes all of the different frequency weapon systems that it actually holds within it. So if you want to look at HR 2977, it's a little bit like maybe 75% into the document. It's not a long document. Please read it, check it out. You will see what chemtrails really is. The military does not want you to know about this, but we have people, and more every day we're getting together, and more every day we will fight this. It's just too bad that in California there also was a 1,000-seater auditorium filled up with all sorts of U.S. Navy and neurologists, doctors, prominent people were there with 1,000 people, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's California governor blanketed all of that in Redding, California. And I'm just saying Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's the poster boy for being a dictator and for literally playing with the public's emotions is what we're really trying to beat out here in this day, because we got CTV, the major news, and Hollywood acting. They've got that TV box, they've got that power to be able to do that, but they don't have power over the people when the people wake up. So we're just hoping that when the people wake up, that the military designs a different program, because there's programs that are when the people wake up, the military is to create a disturbance to knock people's safety and prosperity out and put us into perpetual slavery systems. And if we don't like this, then we're just going to have to deal with, I guess, maybe being compromised in our reputations, like mine and many others. It just keeps going on and on and on, and we can fight against the dark sides, and when you fight against the dark side fights against you. And so I guess that's where we're at. And so now we get the dark side pleading for people for money to act as saviors, for the hurricanes that are caused by the same weapon technologies that are putting us into this situation. And again, I'll say that they did use these weapon technologies in Afghanistan and all sorts of different regions because they can get away with them there, where we obviously can't be there to see it. And they don't have as much of an infrastructure to save them there. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap up this edition of Covert Reality, and we'll see you next time.